it up here. I'm gonna do my best to talk y'all through what I'm going to do here. Basically, just like the stream said, I'm going to show y'all the correct way to install 2 receptacles in one box. So I'll give a couple people a minute to get in, and while I gather some material right here close, and then we'll get into it. I hope everybody's having a great day. As y'all know, it's the A to Z Sparky. If you're not already, drop a follow, hit the like button. If you find this informational, they were installing 2 receptacles in one box the correct way. I'm going to talk why you do it this way and why you don't. First off, a lot of people like taking, you know, you got one hit in, they'll go into one with your hot and your neutral, and then they'll do a jumper to the other one. They'll basically use their receptacles as a wire nut. And that's not correct. The correct way, you want to put jumpers on each of these conductors in your ground. So you want 2 wires coming off your joint. One will go to each receptacle. I've got this one already made up. I'll go ahead and put my wire nut on, and then I'll show you on the next one. I like to get all my jumpers on, my pigtails on first, and then I'll make it all up. And remember, you want to tuck it tight. Keep it tightly tucked, because you've got to push your receptacles in. Like I say, you see I got 2 jumpers now for the ground. Leave them long, you can trim them off, you know, once you get done there. Let me get... I basically went ahead and cut 2 pieces of wire, roughly 12, 14 inches long. So this is what it's going to look like when you're starting it. You know, I've got my 2 jumpers, I've got my 1 neutral coming into the box. So I'm going to strip them out. I always like to strip them long, that way I get a good tight joint, and then trim them off. Clip this one down, strip it long. And you never want to take and just touch it together and put the wire nut on it. That's not the right way. You want to make sure all these plastic jackets are lined up on all 3 of them. Take your lineman pliers, bite them and twist. I like to kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but I like to tighten and twist at the same time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So you want a good, solid joint, and it's going to end up long like that. Clip that guy off, like so. Put your wire nut on. So now we're going to do this again. One time for the conductor, the hot. Alright. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do pigtails off of my conductor. Now, just a forewarning, it's going to bother my OCD as well, but I had 10 gauge wire coming in, so I sent my boss after some 12 gauge MC pigtails, and he didn't come back with the same color. It don't really hurt nothing, but besides my OCD a little bit. But as I said, strip them long. Make sure all your jackets, all the plastic jackets are flush. You're not worried about the end of your wires. You want this flush because you're going to clip off that length. Once you got them all flush there, twist and tight, twist and tight. You don't want them to twist so much back here. You want to keep them twisting right here. So, and don't grab it with pliers because you mess up your wire. If it does twist, once you get your wire nut on, you can fix that while still keeping your joint good and tight. If you will, if you find value so far, hit that like button, please. Get out to more people. Remember, you want to keep your box tucked tight. I'll show y'all once I get my receptacles hooked up what I mean, but you know, your receptacles is a good 1.5 inches thick. They've got to sit in there flush, so you definitely want to make sure you're good and tight. Okay, now that I've got all my jumpers on, I'm going to cut them all flush, about 6 inches out, roughly. And when I'm doing these, I like to strip about 1.25 inches and do a hook. I'll show you why in just a second. Make sure you stay tuned. We get all these hooked. Yeah, if you enjoy this type of content, consider dropping a sub if you're not already. Let me know in the comments what you do for a living, if you do electrical work, or maybe not. Who knows? I'm curious. It's best if you bend your tail on your hook a little bit longer. I'll show you why right here. I always like to start with my ground. Well, I almost showed you wrong. Hold up. You want your, let's see how I can show the camera with it being on. You want your hook to go clockwise because you want it clockwise. You don't take any of them strippers, clamp them tight like that, then no matter what, it don't come out of there. But you always want your tails to run clockwise. That way, as you're tightening, it don't kick it out, spit it out. It'll tighten it. But I'll go ahead and hang them down. This is where your pigtails come into play. Now that we've got pigtails, if one of these receptacles was to burn up, the other would still work. These are dedicated, you know, it goes straight to the panel from here. But if it wasn't, if there was more in line and we just used our receptacles as a joint, if this was to go bad, everything down the line would fail as well because it wouldn't complete the circuit. So that's why we put pigtails on our joints at receptacles, no matter if it's dedicated circuits or not. Just a little why we do. All right. Your gold screw's always your hot screw. Remember that. And that's why we keep our tails long. As long as my tail's long, I can reach in there with them, pinch her down, and she's good to go. Some of these hooks, you know, you'll have to flip, but it's not really not a hard task. And then usually I like to hook them all first, and then I'll come through and tighten them all up, just so I ain't going back and forth in between tools. So let me grab my other receptacle, hook him up here. I'll show you the next step. I'm back. Alright, so ground down. Let's get him on there. Yeah, you'll find the more receptacles you do, the better and faster you get with it. And you'll find little things that work for you that maybe I didn't show you here, but it all comes over time, repetitiveness. Just take pride in everything you try, everything you do. Take chances, work outside your comfort zone, and excel. You want to be able to shine in a dark room. My motto is knowledge is power. That's one thing. No matter what, besides maybe a health issue, the more you learn, you can take down the road with you. Nobody can take it away from you. About like your social security number and your birthday. They can't take it. Just keep that in mind. Take pride in everything you touch. No matter what you do. This could be applied to any job, any trade, any position, even in life in general. Take pride. We only got one life. Take pride in the one we got. Make the best of it. And that's it. I'm installing these on the RF cover, so you want to take these screws out, and your RF cover should come provided with screws. Like you see here, these two centers. That's how these receptacles will mount. Before you put them in, you want to make sure you take your box screws out, because it does not come with those. So you want to take them out, and then mount your receptacles in your RF cover, and then I'll show you how I tuck it. About drop it. Got 3 people in here and 1 like. If you will, smash that like button. Subscribe if you ain't already. And let me know in the comments if you found anything helpful thus far. Paul Gale. I was going to be an electrician like my dad, but ended up being a drywaller for a living. Hey man, there ain't nothing wrong with it. A living's a living. It don't matter. As long as you get it legit and you ain't out there robbing and stealing or selling drugs, a living's a living. It's all hard work. It all takes dedication, and we all have to sacrifice for our families and sacrifice for our futures. And so I get it. Thank you for spending just a little bit of time with me here, and I appreciate that. Sierra Popple, I love you, baby. I'll be home shortly. I like to take all these, and for my neutrals and my hots, they come up high. I like to bend them down in a sense. Just put a little S in my wire. That way, as I'm pushing them in there, they kind of go in like an accordion, if that makes sense. And you ain't ending up all crammed and looking ugly. And then I'll show you on this one. Like that, and then from my ground, I'll take and bend the S like that. Like I say, that way they go into themselves and they don't fight it. Now I've got them sitting there. I'll go ahead with my next step. Take my tabs off like I should have already done. I got distracted because I'm on camera, but normally you would not want to take these tabs off, but with the RF cover, it won't sit flush. Can't have that. That goes back to taking pride in your work and any and everything you touch. All right. I just basically like to set it up there. At first, you're going to want to make sure it pulls in your cover flush. It will offset just a little bit. There's not much room for error around the receptacle plastic, so you have to make sure you get it in there just right, but it will fit. And if not, you'll strip your receptacle hole out, and then you pretty much got to start all over because it won't fit right. So don't make that mistake if you can help it. If you make that mistake, well, we've all made it, so don't beat yourself up over it. Just learn from it. That's all we can do with any mistake, really. Learn from it and do better in the future. Rascal. There we go. So that's that. Remember not to over tighten on these because they will strip very easily. Alright, so now all that's left is to put my 2 screws in my RF cover, and I'll show you what it looks like, you know, looking at it straight, final product. But that's pretty much it. I mean, if you missed any of the beginning steps, go back, check out the beginning. These screws don't. Make sure when you take your screws out, you keep up with them. You don't have to rob them out of another box. Not saying that's what I'm doing, but any of my subscribers, let me know how y'all like me shaved versus with my beard and goatee and stuff. I'm on the fence. I'm trying to look a little more professional, but I don't know. I got a booty chin. I guess I'm a little self-conscious about it, but whatever. Whack. We are nearing the end here. Let's tighten this up. I'll give y'all a showing. The 3 of y'all that stuck with me, I appreciate it so much. To a lot of people, it don't, you know, that might not be nothing. To me, that means everything. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let me show you what we got here. That's what you want to end up with. I always like to keep my grounds down. It's easier to remember. I always do it like that unless I'm told otherwise. If you missed the beginning, y'all make sure y'all go back and watch. There's some real good gas in there. Don't be installing y'all's receptacles wrong. If you ain't already, go subscribe. And remember, be good, be safe. Don't stick your fingers where you won't stick your face. Sparky out.